Okay,
I'm
gonna give you guys a little taste of a 100 Years of Beauty casting. Okay, Chan, give me your best 1920s claw. Hey guys.
Hi guys.
We're back. We've picked out a few questions, so let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this one's for you. Mohammed Badar asks, how will you do a controversial video like 100 Years of Beauty, Israel, and Palestine without upsetting one side or the other?
I don't think there's any way we can approach a subject without upsetting people, because naturally it literally is an upsetting situation, and they have personal reasons, political or cultural reasons for being upset about it. And those are totally legit and real, and we cannot treat this area without, in a way, touching upon those real issues. What we are interested in doing is taking a look at this place that so many people have talked about in so many different ways. If we stick as close as possible to this historical story of hair and makeup, that we can actually explore a dimension of the politics there that we can't do in language.
Goodness Graces asks, this series absolutely gives me life. I was wondering if, in the next video, you could talk more about anthropology and how that study ties into the project. Love it.
Love it. Anthropologists literally study everything and anything. They study primates in the jungles of Indonesia, investment bankers on Wall Street, and what we do here at 100 Years of Beauty, if we're thinking anthropologically, is to think through visual material and visual culture. So how images, everything from magazines and advertisements and music videos to propaganda and the like, produce a kind of human visual culture. And to just have anthropological questions about a subject that people don't often study, which is cosmetics and hair. So yes, you should all take an anthropology class if you haven't already. It'll blow your mind. Okay, Cole French asks, hey Cole, I think you almost took my class, by the way. Okay, what's the general timeline for producing a 100 Years of Beauty video from start to finish? I imagine the whole process of casting a model, researching, filming, etc. takes at least a couple months, or is it different for each case? The split screen videos like Puerto Rico and Ireland, for instance, seem like they take much longer to make because you're dealing with almost twice the amount of work compared to your normal videos.
Good observation. It's true. On average, I would say maybe 2 to 4 weeks. Definitely most of the legwork is in finding the correct researcher and then fact-checking that research and then casting the model. Once we get those two, it only takes about a week to find all the props, find all the accessories, and then get my awesome hair and makeup crew and our model all in the studio on the same day. And what you see as a 60-second video is sometimes 12 to 14 hours straight in the studio. And there's been a lot of long nights, but I have an amazing team that I work with, and everyone, they kick ass. It doesn't take 2 months, but after we've shot the videos, we hand it off to our editors, and they pair it up to music, and I don't know, how long would you say it takes to edit one? 2 days? 3 days minimum. We try to get them out as quickly as possible because we know you guys want to see more. Rosel Lahara says, I was just amazed because of the looks of Asian/Filipino over the years, but when you mentioned something negative about Marcos, I stopped watching the video. My impression to this researcher is you're just good at doing research in Asian beauties and doing makeup tutorials, but if you didn't even study history, well, you better shut up.
Oh, shade. That is shady. Okay, so critique is fair. I accept that, and I'm open to critique. We're all open to critique here at Cut. I think I actually responded to this in the comments, but I've actually gotten a lot of interesting mail from people in the Philippines about this comment I made in the behind the scenes for the Philippines video.
Which hit 1 million views.
It's true, that's crazy. And a lot of people are like, why did you say that Ferdinand Marcos is a dictator and corrupt? That was the best president we ever had. He improved the Philippines, and that was super awesome, and he accelerated our economy, and life was great and safe for us. I actually, my mom and my mom's family and my grandfather and my grandmother are political refugees from that regime. So my grandfather worked at a newspaper as a political cartoonist and satirist, and his colleagues were like disappearing in the 80s during martial law. And like one of them wrote this kind of critical book and they threw him out of an airplane. So it's like they left in the middle of the night to come to the US.
Wow.
So I believe that those people writing me that's a political reality for them, that's real for them, but it's also, for me, like I can't not think about that. Like my whole life is structured around that, so I can't see it like that. I can't get on board. But no one can say that I didn't research it, because I feel like that's really close to my, I don't know, personal perspective or whatever.
Yeah.
To address the other part of this comment, I would say, I hope the one lesson that 100 Years of Beauty teaches us is that we literally cannot just study Asian beauties or just study pop culture or just study hair and makeup without being political subjects in the world. So regardless of how you feel politically, like you should acknowledge that beautiful things and candy and art and like pop music actually are part of the political world we live in.
Yeah, you've been saying that from the start.
I've been saying that from the start, you guys.
I'm really interested in Chan's thoughts on the role of globalization in shaping our views of what is beautiful. What are the benefits and drawbacks to a more homogenized culture worldwide? And how do we talk about the line between celebrating cultures and appropriating them?
Okay. All right, now a small question there. The most we've ever been globalized outside of this current moment is the interwar period. Like every look in the 20s and the 30s is really, really similar, just like the 2010s might be. So I think the world's always been kind of interconnected, just how we think about it. To speak about cultural appropriation, can we just not? I really don't want to read it.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's no answer to that.
Yeah, that's its own mailbag.
That's its own mailbag. Don't be rude, you guys. Don't appropriate.
Okay, are there benefits and drawbacks to a more homogenized culture worldwide?
Yeah, of course there are benefits, right? Like, one thing we've explored in the series is how like, especially political projects like protest can go viral and spread around the world. Certain ideas that are dangerous but politically productive can go viral around the world. So I think that is a benefit. But of course the drawbacks are really obvious, right? That people's cultural identities might get lost, or that we become more corporate consumer subjects rather than cultural individuals in the world. So it's a mixed bag, but that's reality.
Yeah.
Marina, what's it like to direct 100 Years of Beauty?
Directing 100 Years of Beauty is exhausting. One, because of the manual labor in lifting the tripod up and down. Watching me do that must be like, one, hilarious, and two, really sad, because the camera weighs, what, like 30 pounds?
Like 15, 12.
Okay, well.
Cool, I'm gonna just say it weighs 30 pounds, and it costs a lot of money, and I can't afford to drop it. And sometimes I wake up the next day sore from lifting the tripod up and down.
Yeah.
But no, it's really fun. I love to look for inspiration on like Pinterest and online of women from those eras, and I kind of get to like model behind the camera and no one has to see it but the model. So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
But it's really awesome to be able to collaborate with so many people, especially collaborating with our fans. Like they reach out to us and then I end up like texting them back and forth and like showing them images, like, does this look right? And it's really like a team effort, not just within Cut. Thank you, everyone. I hope we entertained you in some way and you learned something new. As always, leave comments down below for us to answer in our next mailbag.
And if you want to submit some ideas for research, or if you want to be a model, or if you know of a model, then go below and look at the link.
Cut.com/100 Years of Beauty. Let us know. We started a 100 Years of Beauty Instagram. You can find us at 100YOB.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. For now, I guess.
Yeah, I think we've talked enough.
Yeah, I'm tired.